Hey, welcome to the No Kidding Podcast.
I'm Lisa.
I'm Andrew.
And you guys are the listeners and the best friends and the family and the best part of this podcast. So props.
Wow, we finally did a real intro.
Props to you guys. Yeah. You're here. We're here. Let's do this.
I thought I'd try something different.
Yeah. Okay. What was different about it? I don't know.
That it was a real intro.
Oh, yeah.
We used our real names and we did it the right way. I try and keep mix it up on them.
Okay.
I never know what's going to happen.
So now they truly don't know who's who because they just got confused. Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's opposite day. They think everything we're saying is true.
Never. It's never true. And it's never serious.
So.
Yeah. What's up?
I have some smoky teas, let me tell you.
Okay, go for it.
No, literally, I have smoky teas. So I got fire roasted tea, and I got this other tea that's like so smoky. It's crazy.
So
it's like
smoky? Is it?
When you are brewing it, it smells like there's a campfire in the room.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It is. It's amazing. I love it.
Is it called campfire tea?
No, it's Chinese.
They don't have campfires?
No, it's just it's
Chinese.
Lapsang Su Chong loose leaf tea.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And another thing I got. This is what kicked me off. I got Yapan Brothers fire roasted tea, which is a little smoky. It's got a little hints of smokiness. I think it's like a Native American tea, and they sell it at the Foxtail near me. And I saw it there, and I was like, "That's interesting. A fire roasted tea, like it's supposed to be like a smoky tea." I never had that concept in my mind.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was like, "Let me try that out," and I ordered it. I usually don't order teas from Foxtail, but I was trying to get more in. This was a while back, more into the tea life. I loved it. I really liked it. I ended up going back like a lot for that tea.
They hooked you.
I talked about it before, actually.
They hooked you on the tea.
Yeah. They spilt the tea, and I was about it. I was lapping it up. I was like,
I need it. I need it more. Give me more.
But it is really good. And the that other one, the Suchong tea or whatever it's called, delicious. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's a little intense, so I'm not having it like every day.
Yeah.
But just the effect of like I throw up on my TV, like the YouTube campfire.
I was like, you threw up on your TV. Whoa, that can't be good. What kind of tea is this?
It's smoky now.
I mean, you know how Native Americans, they used to smoke different psychedelic stuff to get
peyote
close to the gods or whatever.
Yeah, I'm close to God.
Maybe
now.
they threw some of that in your tea. Then you just like vomited everywhere.
Oh, and that's why I'm like, yeah,
hooked,
that makes sense.
Okay.
It all makes sense. But no, specifically the Chinese one, like it's so like aromatic and got that like campfire like peaty smell that like.
What's a peaty smell? I don't know that term.
Peaty, like peat, like saltpeter.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying peaty. And I was like, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and the just having like the fireplace going on the TV, it like feels like it's really happening.
Oh yeah,
really puts you in the cozy mood.
Yeah, I can see that. Now I have two questions for you.
All right, shoot.
One, is this a hot tea or is this your cold brew tea?
Okay, so I tried to cold brew it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
It did not work. This will not cold brew.
I can imagine. I mean, you have fire and smoky in this name, so.
I did think, I was like, maybe this needs to be warm tea. I didn't know if it'd be good as a cold brew because I'm like, it almost demands that it's a hot tea, right? Mm-hmm. But I was like, let's try it out. Let's see. I actually ended up mixing it in with my, because it didn't work. I put a bunch in there and it totally was not. It got like a little bit of tint to the water, but pretty much just stayed clear. So I was like, let me just make a thing of coffee instead. So I put coffee grounds in it, and then it actually has like a little bit of smoky aftertaste, which is nice.
Okay, that was my second question.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it could be a good mixture. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just it's not its elemental. It needs to have the heat.
Yeah, I mean that's okay. Not everything can pass for everything. You can't transition all things to It's like when they try to make savory things into like ice cream, mix them in. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Ooh, what are your examples?
Like bacon ice cream. They throw some bacon bits in there. And I don't. There's places that do things like that. But my second question was the flavor. So are there certain notes, or is it all just kind of like smoky? Does the smoky overpower any of the other flavors? Because you say it's really good, so I assume there's other flavors involved besides just.
Well, I like the smokiness, but yeah, it's got a little bit of just black tea kind of. I'd say almost like an Earl Grey, like kind of undertone.
Yeah.
Mostly, though, it's the smokiness. Yeah, it's pretty powerful. I will say there is sort of a bitter, like nasal kind of taste. Like you know what I mean? Like where it kind of gets up in your sinuses and it's kind of like a bitter, almost like
not
spicy
at all
flavor.
No.
Like, I don't know, like almost like there's just a hint of wasabi or something in there.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah,
wasabi's not quite as.
No, but I know what you mean by the nasal thing now when you said wasabi.
Yeah, so it's like that, but in like a bitter way almost.
Oh.
It's like almost so bitter that it gets into your nose.
I don't know. You're not selling this to me.
That's just like the little. That's like the last little bit. Like that's the last little hint. Is that?
So it's kind of like it's like a pleasure with torture.
Well, no. What I do to cut it, and it works really well, is just put like a couple drops of honey in it. Just a little bit of sweetness, and it cuts it right out.
Okay. Did they do that for you at the place, the coffee shop?
Foxtail,
yeah.
Well, at Foxtail, they don't. It's the fire roasted Yapanti, which is not quite as. It doesn't. That has a whole different flavor. It has a little bit of the smokiness, but it's much more in the realm of normal tea.
Oh, okay.
It's just got like a little touch of smokiness that I liked, and that's why I matured into having the one I can't pronounce, Suchlong.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, that one.
All right.
But yeah, that one actually, I guess I should give them some credit because they did often put a little bit of honey in it for me. Like I usually don't get them sweetened, but I don't know, that one I just kind of enjoyed it with like a minimal amount of honey. I was like, light honey, please. It's good.
Nice.
There's like a smoky sweet flavor.
It's interesting, and I'm going to talk about a couple things here with tea that I've learned. I don't know if I've learned. I haven't fact checked a lot of this stuff, but it's just things that make sense. Some of this I do know. Okay, let me just get into it. So tea, a lot of people, and I remember this from when I was younger, my grandmother, or our grandmother, our father's mother, we called her grandmama. She used to put tea bags, like after she would soak them in the hot water and then cool them a little bit, she would put the tea bags on our sunburns. And I never got that because, I don't know, I just don't remember getting that burnt, I guess, to need it. But I did witness this with cousins.
Is this like henna?
I don't think so. It's not like it stains you or anything.
Well, that's how they make henna, right? They make it from tea.
Maybe. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. But...
Well, interesting. Go on.
So I guess this is like a well-known thing. This is just something... it just brought to my mind, because of the COVID thing, some people use tea while they're recovering from COVID because basically it has an anti-inflammatory property to it. And so the tea seeping from the tea bags would help reduce the inflammation from the sunburn and everything. And the same goes with the COVID. A lot of people who get COVID end up losing their sense of taste and their sense of smell. And so they'll drink different types of teas, more often like super herbal teas and things like that. And with it being hot, it will, you can breathe it in. And people do this when they have a cold too, just to help like with their nasal passages and stuff like that. But I've heard that people who are doing that are recovering from the whole loss of taste and smell situation quicker. Or they don't have as long-term effects from that. I don't know. Again, I don't know how factual this is. It's just something I've been hearing like going around. So, definitely check into it. Don't just take my advice. Like, don't start drinking tea. But I can imagine that tea could be very beneficial it's already been proven to be beneficial for illnesses, like when you're sick and stuff, to drink tea. But I don't know specifically if it actually does reduce the effects of COVID. So Don't go.
I like how you're putting a warning on. Yeah, talk to your doctor before you attempt drinking tea.
Yeah. That's just a what do they call those things? Like just a warning. I'm not a medical professional. Cautionary tale. There's actually a word that I'm trying to think of, but usually I can't think of the word that I need when I need it. So disclaimer. Thank you. That is it's a disclaimer. Please check with your medical professional if you want further advice on that. But yeah, I've always preferred teas to coffee. I've never been a coffee drinker. I don't like coffee. So tea has always been the route I've chosen. Yeah.
Maybe you're British.
Maybe I am. That is not a British accent.
Yeah, you went Southern. But another group of people that like their tea.
I'm a Southern Brit. Yeah, that's...
You like sweet tea? Because then it matches.
I actually don't. I mean, not that I don't like sweet tea, but I would say of all the teas, sweet tea is my least favorite tea. I prefer green tea over sweet tea, and I really love mango tea, and I like for cold teas. That's cold. But for hot teas, I like chais, like the chai tea. I like black tea and green tea, and
maybe smoky tea.
Maybe. I like the lemons I like pretty much all tea. Can't really go wrong.
You've given me an idea for a YouTube channel.
Oh boy!
I'm gonna create a YouTube channel called Will It Cold Brew.
Will It Cold Brew, and then you're just gonna try to cold brew everything.
I'm just gonna stick different things in water and see if it turns into cold water and see if it will brew.
Oh, okay. I feel like cold brew just would take so much of the flavor out. It would just be more bland. I don't know. I know you tried to explain this before that obviously leaving it in there longer would promote more flavor, but...
Well, it's usually stronger if it has some kind of like caffeine or something.
Because it
has more time to leach all that out. It really just, like if you put really hot liquid through, like boiling liquid through something like coffee or even tea, it can create like kind of an acrid taste. It creates like acids and stuff that, are more acrid.
Okay.
So you can just kind of cut through that by making cold brew.
Cool. Yeah. All right.
It will taste different. You're right. So some people might like the more like bitter taste, but.
All right. Well. Nice.
If you're somebody who suffers from acid reflux, try cold brew.
Yeah, I have heard actually that helps, and I do have acid reflux. I used to, and I do remember drinking a lot of tea. And actually, it really helps the stomach. It helps settle the stomach because I would always put turmeric and ginger in the tea. And that, too, also helps a lot.
I feel like I might be weird or maybe it's just that ginger affects the stomach a lot. But I kind of feel like I get a little nauseous if I have too much ginger.
Well, yeah, if you have too much.
Which is kind of ironic, right? Because it's like it's supposed to settle your stomach.
That's
and then
true.
I need charcoal tablets to settle that, and then I need milk to settle that.
And silver to kind of even out everything else.
Then I realize I'm lactose intolerant. And
you're like, what?
It's a vicious cycle. Then I have more ginger.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't know how to help you, child. Anyway, so what else?
Well, I got all caught up with Attack on Titan. It's really exciting.
You know what? I actually considered watching that because I do follow somebody who's really into anime, and she's always talking about it. And she's like, look, guys, if you haven't started watching it yet, you have to watch it. You really have. And like
super good.
Over and over again, she would just be like, okay, guys, you have to watch it. Even if you don't like anime, you're going to love it. So
it's a pretty good show for normies, as we say.
Normies.
Yeah. It's a normie anime.
Okay, yeah.
It's great, though. It has a pretty original concept and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I've liked other animes that I've watched. It just, like, I think it does have to have a certain type of feel to it. Because some of them are a little too almost cartoony, like, light and, like, goofy. And those I don't really like that much. But the more dark, like, brooding story seems to be what I like.
It's so dark.
Okay. So yeah, I probably would like it.
I like that in anime, they're like, the way they telegraph to the audience that somebody is like, dealing with something or in a dark place or angry or anything like that, sad.
Mm-hmm.
They will draw those like thick vertical black lines on their face, right?
Okay.
Like around their eyes generally.
Yeah.
Like it's just that kind of like, it almost like shades their face and makes them look like they're like, like their head's downturned and they're dealing with something, and it's like always reserved in animes for like when somebody's like lover has died or something.
Yeah.
But this anime, it's like every single scene, somebody's there with the dark lines on their face. I'm like, that's how you know this is dark anime.
Oh, man.
You always got the lines.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to try it out for sure.
Yeah. I would suggest for pretty much any anime, but for this one, subbed instead of dubbed, if you can handle it.
What? So don't dub it or
sub it?
Oh, sub it. Oh, yeah, I always do. I don't like the dubs. It's weird. Like, I don't like when the lips are doing something different than the sound of the voice. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. Sometimes they can kind of fake it on anime because they'll sometimes like reorder, like mess with the scenes so that they kind of like the mouth matches the English words a little better.
Oh, really?
But it's still not as good.
It's not the same. Yeah, I mean, the only time I ever do that is if I can't actually watch and read. If I'm listening more than watching.
Yeah.
But
another one that's I would say that you'd want to put subbed on instead of dubbed would be Dark, if you've ever seen it.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I think we talked that you saw the first episode, I think, or the first season, and then like it was 4 years later and you were checking it out.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, I have seen this.
Yeah. That happens to me all the time.
It's one of those situations.
Yes. And then also, I think it's called Death Note. Is that right? Yeah, I saw that one.
That's a great anime.
I think that was like one of the first ones that really kind of got me hooked on it. And then I watched...
Who showed you that one?
I think you did.
Yeah.
It must have been you.
I was just patting my own back.
Yeah. I see.
It.
Okay. Yeah. And there was another one not that long ago that I watched, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was pretty cool because it had like twists and turns, and like you thought you knew what was happening, but then they're like, wham, it was totally different. So
it was an anime?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. It was I don't know. It was about a kid who, it was almost like time travel almost. It was like he was living in two different times, and...
Was it an isekai?
No, that doesn't sound familiar at all.
Well, I mean, an isekai is it's a genre.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
maybe.
it's like where it's basically like when people are transported into a different world or time, and it's usually like a main character that is from like our normal world, and then they get sucked into like back in time, or like in an RPG, or sent into the future or something, somewhere that like they don't really belong, or they get sent to like a fantasy world or something.
Yeah, it was that. But it was a different time. It was like he knew, he kept getting like glimpses of different things that were going to happen or already happened at a different... I can't fully remember the what happened, but basically he ended up saving some girl who was getting abused by her father, and he helped like some old man who had some problems, and
intense.
Yeah, I don't know. It was really good. I remember liking it. If I ever can think of the name of it, I will let you know. Let me see if I can find it, actually, just so that I don't leave people hanging.
Another thing, I mean, I think you kind of touched on it, but another thing that's always been difficult for me to overcome is the animation style of certain anime.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, something about certain anime, like, I just can't get into it simply because I don't like the way the characters are drawn, or, like, just the art style. It's, like, weird. Like, one of the big ones for me that I'm kind of upset with because it downs my weeb cred. I can't watch Dragon Ball Z. Something about that anime style, like, it's just weird. Like, their eyes and stuff, it's, like, so bizarre to me. Can't get over it.
Yes. Could it be called Erased?
Erased. Oh, yeah. People have been telling me to watch that.
I think maybe that's it.
That's a popular one. I've gotten a lot of recommendations for that one.
Maybe that's it. Well,
and I remember people telling me that it's another one that's like an easy watch for people that usually aren't into anime.
Yeah. See, I think I'm like borderline.
It's not super tropey, I guess.
I like anime on that borderline level where it's like I'm not deep in, but I can appreciate the easy to like animes. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been watching Akudama Drive, which is pretty cool. I'm on that cyberpunk train right now, and that's like a kind of cyberpunky anime. So
okay,
it's pretty good so far. I'm like 5 episodes in.
Nice.
It's like it's interesting. It's kind of like almost if Reservoir Dogs was an anime.
Really?
But
okay, that's hardcore.
But it's in the future, in a sci-fi future.
Oh, nice. I always like time travel. Not really time travel, but like, I mean, I do love time travel shows and movies and stuff. But I'm talking like if it's in a different time than our time, I'm pretty much gonna like it.
So pretty much any kind of sci-fi or fantasy.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, anything that goes into the future, anything that goes into the past. Now, I will say, sometimes...
You must love Back to the Future.
I love it. Yeah, that's an awesome movie. It's a classic. But also, like, sometimes there are they're called period pieces, which go back in time, that are so boring. So I won't, that's kind of a blanket statement for me to say I'll like any of them. That's right. Kind of a lie. But it'll pique my interest.
I think certain people are like, oh, I want to do that if it's like a cool backdrop to an amazing story. Yes. But sometimes these period pieces are more like, how about those times and how they actually were? Yeah. And then it's like, this is more of a documentary than
I know. I mean, and even those are sometimes good. Right now I'm watching, it's called Turn, and it's on Netflix, and it's actually about the war between Britain and America and when they split. So,
cool.
And it takes place around that time, George Washington's in there, whatever. But so people were recommending this, saying, oh, it's so good. Have you been watching it? It's really good if you can get past all the gore or whatever. So I'm like, oh, right on. Let me get on that. So
you're like, I'm good with gore. Let's go.
I mean, I've watched Outlander. I'm trying to think of like similar type movies or shows or whatever.
If you can go through Outlander, you can go through anything.
I think I'm on episode 5 right now. It's taken me a really long time to get through this. It's one of those ones that it's like I really want to like this show, but it's just not doing it for me. It's like trying to finish a book that you've started and you're halfway through, but it's still not good. It's like still hasn't hit the mark where you're hooked. So I could literally walk away from the show after 5 episodes and be perfectly fine not watching it again. But something keeps bringing me back. So that's what's making me, because I have done that before. Like actually lately I've been having a really hard time finding a show that will keep my interest. So that's probably part of it. But because I will say that before this, I watched like 3 other shows that I stopped after like maybe 3 episodes. And I was like, I can't watch this. It's boring. And this one's kind of still within that field, but it still keeps bringing me back. Like it's almost like I think it really is. This is really the thing. I think it's an hour long. Each episode is an hour long, and throughout that hour, it drags and drags and drags. But near probably the last 20 minutes of it is good. So it's like
it sounds like it should have been 20 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm like, now I really want to see what happens, but then I get into it and then I'm bored again for the next 45 minutes. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, it's like it's almost like when you're reading a book. It's like there's the entry cost of like reading a whole chapter is going to take a little bit. Like it's a little more effort than something like a show or something. So it's almost like you got to be like, is it worth it? Like, there's like an entry cost. So
exactly. I know.
You feel like a little bit of resistance you have to get over before you can sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
I've actually been really impressed with how well Attack on Titan was able to use 20 minutes, especially when like 10 of it are the intro and outro.
Yeah.
It's like there's basically like I would say like 5 minutes. There's like a 2.5 minute intro, 2.5 minute outro. Yeah. And then so they got 15 minutes to tell a story with each episode. And they do a really good job.
That's good.
It's impressive.
I think there's something to be said about the length of of an entertainment something. It doesn't necessarily have to be a TV or a movie. It could be anything. But sometimes it calls for a longer stretch, like an hour, and you could fit, because there's just so much to fit in. So it's fine. But there's something to be said about those short ones that just keep you. I guess it's kind of like TikTok, it's like you're like right after one, you're ready for the next one. You're ready for the next one because it kind of hooks you because there's just enough to tease kind of a new. Yeah.
The idea behind TikTok is like the opposite of a book or something, right? It's like there's zero barrier to entry. This is going to take like 5 seconds of your time. Yeah. You're going to love it or you're going to move on.
They know exactly what they're doing.
It's fun. So it's just like the easiest bite-sized thing to get into.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I actually, it's funny that you say that you haven't like been able to like stay focused on stuff. Yeah. I've been in like the exact opposite mood. For some reason, I've been finishing stuff like crazy. Like I finished Dark, so I wasn't aware when I caught up that it had completed. Like this was the last season, essentially.
Okay.
So wow, what a revelation! I kind of like that. It's kind of fun to be surprised. It hits hard. It hits heavy.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know the ending.
Yeah. So I mean, no spoilers, but it's got 4 seasons. That's a spoiler, I guess. Then I finished Mr. Robot, which was another one that I wasn't sure when I started catching up again that it had completed. But another really great one. Recommend it.
Cool.
I wonder if that's my favorite, like, true crime kind of.
What?
I don't know. Like something like Breaking Bad. You know? I don't know. Breaking Bad was pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Breaking Bad, but Mr. Robot's really good.
So
it's just
Mr. Robot
it's interesting because it has a totally different
true crime show. I thought it was about a robot.
I would say so. No,
it's not. He's just called Robot, Mr. Robot.
It's about hacking and stuff.
Oh.
Like the guy's a really good hacker. So
okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about like I guess it's a true crime. I guess, and also I'm biased. That's another part of it. So I'm a developer, so I feel like they did a pretty actually true to life. They have a lot of like hacking sequences and stuff in that are a lot better than what you normally see in Hollywood.
Yeah.
They're like a lot more true to life too. It's not like, oh, I'm hacking the mainframe and I'm taking over the world. It's like a lot more focused on how somebody might actually gain access to something. But yeah, it is like a true cybercrime kind of thing. But yeah, it totally has those hallmarks though. There are things like the kind of escalations and stuff that take place in Breaking Bad that occur, and they're well done.
Oh, cool.
I think it's a really well executed show. And also it has a lot of other things going for it. Like they tackle some interesting concepts. One being the cybersecurity element, but then also the crime and just other stuff. It's really good.
Okay, well.
But yeah. And then let's see, I just beat Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1. I got the remastered edition.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I've been beating games. I'm very close to beating Cyberpunk. I am going above and beyond. I think that might have been what is the catalyst for this. Like, it was so enjoyable to play that game that I feel like it's reinvigorated all of my other interests. Like, I'm like, suddenly everything tastes sweeter after Cyberpunk.
Oh, yeah, but, maybe you've been hit with the bug. Inspired.
I know. And that one I'm even like going through, and normally when I start to get to the end of RPG, like I slow down and I feel like, oh, it's ending. Like, I don't know. It's like this weird thing where I don't even want to see the end because I'm like, well, then like the game will be over and I won't. Maybe I want to play more.
Yeah, true.
So
it's always the sad thing about getting really into something is knowing there's an ending.
Yeah, but then the awkward thing with RPGs is like it doesn't have to be the end. Like you don't have to walk through that door that's marked the end and see what it is. You just can keep playing, and there's like other like side missions and stuff. So you're like, I always tell it to myself. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do all the side missions, and then I'll come back and do the ending. But then obviously, the more you play the side missions, the less interesting they get because you played all the ones that you were interested in when they came up. Because you're like, oh, that sounds interesting. But then, you start getting to the weird ones that are just like some weird side quest that's like a guy in a town that's like, I need 5 mushrooms. And you're like, okay, well, all right, I guess I'll go find those.
Okay.
So yeah, and then you just end up dwindling off and never finishing it.
Oh.
That's what happens to me in like a lot of Fallout games and stuff. It's like, I always get trapped at the end because I'm like, I don't want it to end. But I feel like with Cyberpunk, I haven't lost steam. Like there's still like every side mission I do, I'm like, wow, what a what a story.
Awesome.
Like even some of the like random encounters and stuff, you like run into people on the street and they're like, I need you to do this, and you're like, okay. Yeah, all right. This seems interesting.
So you can just like go off on side things, missions.
Yeah, you
or whatever.
can just kind of like talk to somebody and they'll just be like, oh, you need to go talk to this guy, and then suddenly like I'm contracted as a hitman and I'm like,
What? You're talking about Tony Hawk or Cyberpunk?
No, I'm talking about Cyberpunk.
Oh, okay. I'm like, Tony Hawk really took a turn at some point. I just remember that being a skater game.
If I could get a skateboard in Tony Hawk though.
Right.
No, yeah, but Tony Hawk 2, that's been a really fun one. That's just it's a fun one for the couch, you know? You just sit back on the couch. I just got it for the Xbox.
I get it, yeah.
Just, it's all the muscle memory of X, Y, B.
It's just a disconnect and chill kind of game.
Yeah, and then they have that awesome soundtrack. Although I think for the remastered, I don't recognize a lot of the songs. I will say that I played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 the most, so maybe I'm misremembering what the original soundtrack was. I know they definitely updated it because there's songs in there about like Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. There's one that they mention all of those social networks, and then I'm like, I know the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 came out in 1991, I think. I looked it up, and so, or 1999. So I don't think those are around. So it's interesting that they've updated it. It makes me wonder if it's just an all new soundtrack, because I think there's been at least one or two songs that I remember, but I think maybe they had to, because it's got to be a licensing issue, right? If they're releasing a new game.
Yeah. And
then all of those songs need to be licensed again, and they were all from like big names. There's like Ramones and Red Hot Chili Peppers, and like not just like little backwater bands. Like they got real stuff going on. So it's like they got to contact Red Band again and be like, hey, can you license me your music, please?
Right.
For the game that we already licensed last time, but I want the same exact songs again. And then here's the kicker. You know what? I bet those songs are really hard to license entirely because of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Like, I think some of those songs are as popular as they are, like, legitimately, because they were on the Tony Hawk Pro Skater list.
Maybe.
I think a lot of people, like, were super nostalgic about that soundtrack.
Probably, because it was such a, like, popular classic game back in the day.
Isn't that funny, though, that they probably were a part of that song being successful, and now it might be why it's so hard to license for the remake?
Yeah, that's true. I'm surprised that they don't have some kind of like collaboration or something with them.
Well, it's like so many bands and stuff. Like there's so many like huge names.
Yeah.
That were on those labels. So.
And back then they probably didn't have to be as like strict about that. Maybe
I don't know.
And...
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder how it goes. Like now that those Red Hot Chili Pepper songs, for example, are like kind of old classics now. Like I wonder how that affects their how they do it. Like you think when the music's newer is when it'd be worth more, but I don't know. Now that those songs are so old and they've got so many more plays on them and they've gone gold or whatever and they're like thought of as classics, I think they might even go for more.
True.
Total speculation, but it's interesting to think about.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know. But I wonder if, because like with movies and stuff, how they have music in movies that, and then when they come out with like a sequel or something, do they have to submit for that?
I think that's entirely why they do things like make original music and soundtracks and stuff. Think about it. Like it'd be kind of awesome if like certain movies would be really great candidates to have like Lady Gaga as their theme song or whatever. But think about having to license that, and like Lady Gaga would own your theme song, and then like every subsequent release, it would be like more and more expensive. It'd be like having to pay an actor to stay on. It's just one more extra thing that you have to like contract and be like, okay, the next sequel's coming up. Now how much are you gonna try and negotiate for this one?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. That's a good
Whereas
question.
they could just like get a composer to make them like.
And sometimes they make really good music for specific movies.
Oh yeah, I mean it's awesome because John Williams.
Oh yeah, and he's probably the best composer out there. That's true.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I wonder if there's
He does some really good stuff. It's amazing just whenever I think, but there was that other great movie, you know, I'll think of something like, Interstellar or something. And it's just like wild to see how few amazing composers there are.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you just keep seeing the same names come up over and over again. You're like, yeah.
Like Danny Elfman does a lot of like quirky, weird movies. And Hans Zimmer is another big one.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of for Interstellar. He did Hans Zimmer did Interstellar.
Yeah. And those are pretty much the three biggest ones that I know.
Marty O'Donnell, come on.
What did he do?
Halo.
Oh.
He's honestly like kind of regarded as the Hans Zimmer, if you will, of video games.
You know, honestly, there are a lot of video games that have extremely good music that people will literally just play the game for the music.
It was honestly probably a huge part of Halo's success.
Yeah, I would say that's that's true. Imagine that game with the crappiest music.
Yeah, I mean, that music was so perfect, though. It just set that ambiance. Like, it just nailed it.
Yeah, that's true.
It was good. I think it really gave people, like, the feeling that they got when they were first on the alien world. Like, part 1 was the gameplay, and then part 2 was the artistry of it, and part 3 was the music. Like, all 3 parts have to come together in equal amounts to, like, create what, you know, an amazing game like that turns into, you know, a classic.
Yeah. I wonder, like, how a composer gets into, like, because it's one thing to be a composer, and then how do you then niche yourself down to being a video game, you know, composer, and then niche down even more to being a certain type of video game composer? Because there's, you know, like the retro game composers and like.
Yeah, there is. It is interesting though, because I think. If I remember correctly, I remember hearing somewhere that most people that try and become composers end up being like jingle makers, essentially, like the people that write for commercials and stuff.
That's probably true.
So I feel like it's an upward climb, right? Like you start and you're like, okay, I went to school at Juilliard or whatever. I can like compose like with orchestra, like this amazing composition.
Yeah.
But who needs that yet? Like when you have no name, right? It's like, who needs that? It's like somebody at making a Tide commercial is like, oh, hey, yeah, I need somebody to like play a little ditty on a piano. It's like, I could do so much more than that, but okay.
Oh yeah, that's so true. Speaking of that,
then they gotta like work their way up.
Because that's the thing is, Mike, actually, my boyfriend, he went to music school, and he went not necessarily to become a composer, but he studied that, and he appreciates it from that level of being whatever, like more of on the professional side of it. But even then he was kind of like, it became very aware to him, the road to becoming a successful composer or a successful musician or successful, band person who not necessarily that plays in the band, but works on all the equipment and organizes it and programs it and whatever. So
yeah.
That realization hit him pretty hard, I guess. But on top of that, though, there's this guy that we follow on Twitch who he used to work for Disney, and he would compose, and he writes music for, I don't know if he writes for like movies and stuff or just like TV shows that Disney does, but he used to do that. He no longer does that. Now he does Twitch, and I'm pretty sure that's all he does. But he used to live in LA, and then he moved, and now because he still worked for Disney in LA, and then he moved. But but it was just so interesting because now he writes music like for other Twitch streamers, for lots of other people who just need personalized songs and with his kind of style, which is kind of like a Disney style. And he's really fascinating to watch, but he is seriously super talented, like incredibly talented. And he follows a couple of other people who write music on there too. Just thinking about all the talent that's out there and what they're like. I mean, not to say that they're not successful. They clearly are gaining an audience and they're successful, I'm sure, in their own ways, in their own life. But there's so many different avenues that they've gone down, probably starting at the same place, wanting the same things. But that's the same thing with actors too. Like the chances of you becoming an actor are pretty like slim compared to how many people actually want that and go after it. I'm sure that's true with a lot of professions, though, like entrepreneurs and, anybody, pretty much. So it's just interesting, like you said.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, talk about being underappreciated. Like, they don't get to make, like, really, I mean, some of them do, but a lot of them don't make, like, records that sell, like, out of a music shop or, iTunes or wherever, to, like, go out to the people. I mean, unless it's being, like, subsidized for a movie or something, and it captures people's attention that way. And then people are going out to get, like, the Interstellar soundtrack. Nobody's like, oh, let me just look for, like, a composer that just composes for nothing, like, just to make music. Like, people get hooked on it by seeing it in the scene. And I think that's part of, like, what I was saying for Halo, but it's true for for movies as well. Just, like, seeing those epic, like, spacescapes in Interstellar and hearing that theme along with it, it, like, evokes such an emotion that then, like, that carries over to when you just, like, listen to music or set the wallpaper as your desktop background or whatever. Like, the art and the music can then carry so much more weight apart because of, like, the original memory it made together in your mind.
Right. That's so true. And I feel like this is just from a personal standpoint. I tend to gravitate towards music that's more like that versus just the popular music. And not to say that I dislike popular music, but I genuinely don't have, like, a favorite band or a favorite pop artist or a favorite any of that. Like, I couldn't even tell you certain songs or anything like that. It's more like, oh yeah, I liked that song that I just heard that made me feel a certain way. I'm not, like, a super musical, like, I always thought of myself as not really liking music, but that's not true, because I really love and appreciate music when it's done a certain way or is meaningful to me. But I guess that's how everybody is. Like, if it makes them feel a certain way, then they'd love it. So I don't know. It's interesting, like, just music in general, how it affects people differently. And also, you gotta, like, appreciate music for different reasons. So I do like pretty much all genres, except for I've never really been into country because I don't know. No, there are people,
no matter what, somebody's like, not
I know,
country,
but there are people out there who die hard country fans. So
oh yeah, of course. I mean, it wouldn't be a genre.
Exactly. So I don't know. I don't get that though, because I don't know. It's just, it doesn't hit me right.
I think it's just a divisive one, right? It's like there is a very, like, large group of people that enjoy it, but for the most part, it has a certain, like, aesthetic to it that a lot of people can't get into.
Right. And I feel the same about rap. So I feel like rap and country are both, like, almost identical in the types of music that they are. It's just the way that they're created is different. But they talk about the same things, but in their own way, like their own, like, point of view, I guess. And it's very, like, story based. And I think that's what I don't like about it, is that it's like I don't know if it's the story that I don't like. I don't know. But
interesting.
Yeah.
Do you like rap though?
No, that's the thing, is, like, well, it depends. So
well, you said you just don't like
I don't like country, and I would say that I don't like rap if I had to pick two that I don't like. But it's not that I like R&B, which I think is different than rap. But sometimes R&B can be, like, rap-ish. Like, they can have, like, that rap style to it sometimes, I think.
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
know. And I don't necessarily mind it. I don't know. But I think it's just, like, hardcore country and hardcore rap I can't do. I'm like, that's too intense for me.
I can get to a certain degree, like, not being able to relate, for example, to, like, gangster rap or something like that. But I think there is, like, some really good, like, underground rap and stuff. Like, if you've ever listened to Atmosphere, they make some really good stuff. And Brother Ali.
Yeah.
There's some pretty good rap out there.
I've heard that too. And that's not bad. And I used to be into, like, where it's kind of like a combination of rock and rap at the same time. I don't know how to explain that.
Linkin Park.
Well,
R.I.P. Chester.
Yeah, kind of like that. But I don't know. Yeah. But anyways, what I was saying was, you just have to appreciate it for what it is. So, like, you don't go to a club looking for symphony music, and you don't go, You
don't go to a symphony club?
I don't know. I don't think so. And you don't, like, drive to the beach with rap music. You're kind of, like,
Oh, I would.
looking for like that beachy vibe kind of reggae style. And then, I don't know. I do tend to gravitate.
Reggae's can have some
yeah,
rappiness
see,
to
okay,
it.
there
Like
you go.
if you've
Because I
ever-
kind of gravitate more towards like that kind of reggae, jazz, and then also movie score type song, like music. But I can appreciate a pop song that gets me dancing too. So I don't
If you've
know.
ever heard Damian Marley.
Damian Marley.
Yeah.
I've heard of.
He's Bob Marley's son.
Okay, yeah,
and
that's why it made sense.
And he's a rapper. It's pretty reggae-inspired rap. It's good.
Okay, yeah, I'd probably like that then. I don't know. I can't say that it's really hard for me to say a blanket statement like I don't like something because I could probably find something in it that I do like. Yeah, but generally speaking, there's a lot of stuff out there that's just that's kind of crap that I'm like, how did this become popular? I'm still curious. Oh, one thing I don't like about music, I will say this. The repetition of words and songs. Sometimes you listen to a song and you really appreciate it, but they literally say the same thing for 90% of the song, and then
the chorus is just like over and over again with a couple little one-liners stringing them together.
I don't like that. That's probably my least favorite genre or whatever.
I don't know if that's really genre.
I don't know. It must be. It's like a
Yeah.
style.
I got you.
Yeah, but
I could see that.
yeah, I've been really into what's her name? Dang it, she's so popular right now. What's her name? It's I keep wanting to say Billie, but it's not Billie.
Billie Eilish?
Oh, it is Billie. Billie Eilish. Why am I thinking that her name wasn't Billie? I don't know. I was like, it kept coming to my head as Billie.
I was just listening to Therefore I Am earlier today.
Oh yeah. So I really appreciate her music. I think it's good. She has like a unique style, and the only thing
Do you like minor key music?
I don't know what that means.
That's like kind of music that's played in minor key is generally like
like
Chopin, like kind of a darker, like it kind of like has a moodier feel to it.
Probably, yeah, I do. I think that's true, yeah. One of my favorite sort of scores is from Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they had some awesome music.
Yeah.
What is that? The Where Is My Mind? That's from that
obviously
movie,
it's gone.
right? No, that's the song. Or Where Is My Mind? Song by the Pixies.
Oh, okay. I like the Pixies.
Yeah, that was in. Wasn't that in Requiem for a Dream?
I could have been.
Requiem for a Dream soundtrack. First thing that comes up. It's like, don't forget about the movie soundtrack. So I guess I jumped in front of you there. What's your favorite composition from that?
Basically the main one, yeah. The one that goes boom, boom, boom. I don't know how to sing it, but yeah, that one.
I'm listening to it right now. Is it copyright if I just
I
sing
think it
the
is
sound
actually.
song with it?
I think it might be.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know this one. The dun 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 dun.
That sounds like
like
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, does it?
Kind of, yeah.
Not getting it right. What about the if I do?
It's called Lux Aterina.
Inception.
Aterna. Lux, yeah. Sure, yeah, I like those. I also like Summer Overture from that soundtrack.
Very nice. Summer Overture. Oh, are we doing like composition recommendations?
Oh, sure.
Halo 3 ODST has some great ones. Shout out to Marty O'Donnell again. It's a shame, dude. They Bungie fired him.
Oh, they
Messed up.
did?
Well, they let him go or whatever,
Oh.
but he got really upset because he didn't want to be let go, and I think he like won a lawsuit against him.
Really?
Because he was like a founder of that. He was like one of the like holders of control in that company. Anyways, what is some good music from Halo? What am I trying to think of? To Kill a Demon from Halo 3 ODST. That's a fun one. Finish the Fight, of course. I mean, come on.
Come on.
This is Halo 3 OST. These are the ones that I just have on my... But ODST, Overture. Oh, for sure. Halo 3 ODST Overture is amazing.
Overture. Okay.
Yeah. Menagerie's pretty good. Skyline. Oh, Neon Night. That's the one everybody goes for, though.
Neon Night.
That one has some really good... Yeah, the one of the things I love about Halo 3 ODST is it's a little more jazzy. It's like a smooth, like, dark jazz. It's good.
Okay.
It's all like it's almost like, honestly, it's like the most cyberpunky Halo. It's like you play, it's got a really interesting campaign. You play an ODST, so it's the first game of the Halo series where you're not playing a Spartan, namely the Master Chief. You're just a regular guy, like a regular soldier, I should say. I mean, he is a elite special forces soldier, but he's not like a superhero.
Okay.
And you have to survive. You basically get separated from your team, knocked out, and then you wake up in the night in New Mombasa, a massive city in Africa that is has been occupied by the alien covenant, and you basically have to survive in the city at night as it's like drizzling rain, and you're sneaking around with like silenced weapons and stuff. It's like the first time you actually have to try and be sneaky because you're not like made out of metal.
Okay. Wow.
It's a very interesting game, and it has this like really interesting like jazzy kind of noir soundtrack that goes with it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. See, I think that would be... I'm trying to think of a time when I would listen to that just on my own. You know, like what kind of activity would I be involved in?
It's great for a rainy day.
Okay.
If you're ever in a rainy day and you just want to kick back, like read a book or something, you want to listen to Neon Night from the Halo 3 ODST OST.
Neon Night. Got it.
As it were.
Nice.
Yeah. Also, dude, you know what's also really good? Some Japanese RPGs and animes and stuff have some great soundtracks as well. Like Square Enix, Dearly Beloved from Kingdom Hearts. I mean, come on. You gotta love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also some from like Final Fantasy and Miyazaki films that are great.
Cool.
Oh man, the theme for Battlefield Bad Company.
Wait, I've heard that. I've heard of that before.
That one was good.
Battlefield Bad Company.
That had a bunch of great music, but the main theme in particular was awesome. That one's kind of jazzy too.
Let me see here.
Well, there is a jazzy one actually. I think there's two separate. There's the main theme, and then there's kind of like a funner, jazzier one.
Yeah, I like that. It's very relaxed.
Apparently, I really like.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I like it when they throw in some jazziness.
Yeah.
Oh, are you listening to the Battlefield one?
Yeah. I will say...
Oh, just wait. It kicks up.
Yeah. Well, this is what I was going to say. Is I like jazzy music, and I like music like this. This is very much like... almost like... I was going to say... the band. What is it called? Like a marching band type theme. But... I have a problem with horns. I have
just the horns.
I have a mixed,
Get those out of here.
I have mixed feelings with horns because sometimes like they really add to the music, but I really hate when they get so loud that they overcome the music. I don't get as emotionally charged as I think they want me to be. I'm more like, I'm gonna ram that thing down your throat if you don't stop blowing.
Oh my gosh. I guess you wouldn't
really
like.
I'm like, my ears. I don't like it.
I feel like you wouldn't like Streetlight Manifesto.
I don't think so. I think I know what you're talking about. And see, Mike does like that. He loves that. Like, and
oh, it's so epic. It's like that's the music they played when the king was there.
Really?
The trumpets.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
So Star Trek. This is a good example. There's certain music in Star Trek where it's very trumpety and very loud. And that's my one criticism of Star Trek is that it's way too heavy on the sensory overload because not only is it incredibly loud and obnoxiously repugnant to the ears, it also has the worst amount of like light switching. So it'll have like flashing blue and flashing green and red and whatever. And then it'll go from dark lighting to light, like bright lighting and like...
Listen, if you're going to be in the future, you better be ready.
My gosh. it really doesn't bother me when I'm sitting down watching it. I mean, as much. It still is kind of annoying. But Mike used to watch it at nighttime as I was falling asleep, and we were stuffed into one like small bedroom like together, and I was like ready to pick up the TV and smash it. I was like, please watch anything else besides
or hit skip intro.
The most loud and obnoxious TV show you could possibly find. I don't know, but I love Star Trek, so don't get me wrong. Don't come for me, Trekkies. I love it, but they have to really dial down their sensory.
Well, I mean, I think I've heard from you that you're a fan of like Dixieland jazz and stuff. They're pretty heavy with the trumpets and stuff, and like
as long as it's not like
stuff.
Abrasively. I don't know. There's a certain type of there's a
What about Louis Armstrong? They have some trumpets in there that's like.
Yeah, but there's an abrasive way to do it, and then there's a smooth way to do it. You know what I mean? Like there's a in your ear, and then there's a it's a I don't know. I can't.
If you had a dog, it'd be going crazy.
Oh my god, that's true. But speaking of like the complete opposite of that, I've also found these like good. It's like really good music for. Like when you're just chilling and you're trying to focus and you're like, it's like study music, basically. It's very like chill. Like if you want to calm down and like really focus, is it lo-fi? It's lo-fi. Yeah.
Lo-fi is the way to go, man.
And there's so many.
Hey, that's like, okay. You said you're into R&B.
I mean,
yeah. There's definitely some R&B in there.
Into R&B, but I
because there's lo-fi hip hop.
Yeah.
That has that kind of beat to it.
It's nice. It's nice. It's a nice like background because normally I can't have things in the background. It's very, very distracting. But this music is like really good for if you need to focus. Yeah, I use it with kids in therapy because it helps them focus. Kids who are typically very difficult to corral their attention. Pop the headphones on. Put a little lo-fi in the background, and it's safe for little ears. So, you know.
So like lo-fi hip hop, that's like the level of like, I guess hip hop in general, like you're cool with that, but like Regulate by Warren G.
Right.
That kind of gangster rap. No good.
No good.
That's the line. I'm just judging the line.
Yeah. I'd say if it's like slit throat, hardcore rap, it's probably a no-go for me. It's
like a whole story. Regulates like a whole story about how he shot some guys and then stepped over their body and like picked up some chicks, and then they got in a car and drove off, and he had to regulate.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice story. Maybe if it was in a movie, I'd be into it, but the music part, not so much. But there is some rap that I used to like, and probably do still like, just from nostalgic from back growing up. So that wasn't as hardcore. It's kind of like introductory rap. I don't know, like
baby's first rap.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
Will Smith rap.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean a little bit harder than that, but
he's like, get good grades and stay in school.
I actually did like Will Smith, so but I liked other stuff like LL Cool J and...
Oh, you ever see Deep Blue Sea?
Oh, yeah.
Big fan of his.
Yeah, big fan.
I'm sorry about the parrot.
Oh. Well, wasn't there a bird that died in... I want to say it was Dumb and Dumber. Like, it was their bird.
Yeah. Where the kid's like, pretty bird. He's petting it, but its head's like taped on.
Oh.
Classic. Well, I think that about spells the end here.
It spells it. END, end. Let's go. All right, well, next time.
That was an official END, guys.
Next time I have some good stuff for you guys. I have some productivity tips.
Mm-hmm.
So
you got a riddle for us?
You put me on the spot. I totally forgot I was doing that.
I think you've missed a few episodes.
Okay, I got one for you. What has a neck but no head? not the bird.
The bird. No, that one's got a head and no neck.
Exactly. Okay, so that's it. What has a neck but no head?
Not the bird. That's the answer.
Oh, yeah. No.
Easy. It's too easy.
Anyway, subscribe so that you don't miss the next episode and you'll get notified when it comes out.
Bell me. Oh, no, wait. This isn't YouTube. It might be YouTube.
It's true.
But if it's not.
It might be YouTube. If you're watching from the tube, do the bell. Yeah. Let us know what you think. And go over to the Instagram.
And then go get Taco Bell.
Or Moe's.
They don't have a bell. Go to Philadelphia.
Oh, right. You're doing the bell thing. Okay. Went right over my head. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
And when we're in the distance, you'll hear this whispered tune. So long, very well, big cheerio, we'll be back soon.
I think every Taco Bell should have a bell.
They should. That you can ring. How annoying would that be?
Yeah. Oh, no, wait. It would be a little too Long John Silver's.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's not the same. Why do they have a bell?
Because they're nautical.
No.
Every ship's
why
got a
does
bell.
Taco Bell have a bell?
Like, why are they the Taco Bell? I don't know. It's like if there was the burger chandelier.
What?
What? Did they have to have a chandelier if they're the burger chandelier? Come on, Lisa.
I guess not. I don't know.
Doesn't need to make sense.
Why didn't they name it the Taco Door?
I love you, bye.